Illuminati all through your body, like a 12 gauge Sade. Hey, what's up, YouTube? And today I'm going over the Lupe Fiasco versus Kendrick Lamar type of the beef, or not so forth the beef, but also like the competition. And also I'm gonna get into Lupe Fiasco as a whole and see what we can find. But Lupe Fiasco is one of the greatest rappers of all time. He's a top 10 rapper of all time to me. And Kendrick is a top 30 rapper of all time. Probably one of the best rappers of the new generation. And I mess with both of them. Of course, I mess with Lupe a little bit more, but we're gonna get into it. So if you see the title of the video, I put Lupe Fiasco as the original hip hop savior, and before Kendrick. And we're gonna get into why he might have a little disdain for Kendrick, even though I think people are blowing that out of proportion by saying he's jealous of Kendrick when he had the success already. He had the platinum hits, the platinum album, the gold albums, and all that. So it's not like he's jealous all around like he's an underground MC when he had multiple platinum songs and gold songs. So we're gonna get into that. We're gonna start with Kendrick. Not Kendrick. Lupe. I messed up on that part. Lupe. We're gonna start on Lupe because since Lupe came before Kendrick, Lupe came out in around 2004 or 5 with the two of the hottest mixtapes of the early to mid 2000s, the Fahrenheit series. One was the first Fahrenheit that had gained a lot of buzz, but it wasn't until the second mixtape that garnered him a whole lot of attention from the mainstream crowd. Lupe had done some remixes of some songs on the mixtapes. He's even made his own songs on those. So those mixtapes got him a lot of mainstream attention, especially in Chicago, where Kanye just blew up in that a year prior to him making those mixtapes. So they blew up around the same time. So Lupe drops those mixtapes. He does a couple remixes of Diamond Serion, and the Muhammad Walks, aka Jesus Walks, which was Kanye's song. So he does remixes of Kanye songs. Of course, Lupe was like one of the original rappers to blow up off the internet, even before MySpace or YouTube. So he blew up off of the LimeWire in Chicago. So he was huge. So when he dropped those mixtapes, he became this huge phenomenon, right? With the mixtapes, he was like the next up artist. So Lupe, of course, garners the attention of Kanye, who garners the attention of Jay-Z. Kanye then sees that he remixed one of his newer songs off of his new album, Diamond Serion. I think Diamond Serion might have been one of his first singles or something like that. I don't know. I don't know. I wasn't really around because I was only like one at the time, but I think that would have been one of his first singles after he got finished with College Dropout, and now he's on his way to Late Registration. He's gonna drop Diamond Serion. I think he might have not finished with Late Registration yet, so he might add on a couple more features or do something else. So after he drops Muhammad Walks from his first album that Kanye West did, remixes Muhammad Walks or Diamond Serion, I don't know which one came first. Muhammad Walks came first, but I don't know which one came first, as in which one got him the attention to get on Kanye West's song. So he was on his first introduction to the mainstream to some people, was the song Touch the Sky. Of course, most of us know the song because this song gets replayed or reruns on the radio. Lupe was featured on that. His first hit song got him a lot of attention because he had the best verse on the song. So within those months of dropping the song in 2006, the single in 2006, the song's been on there on the album since 2005, but they dropped the music video on MTV in 2006. So he waited a couple of months because of his hype. he drops another his own actual first single, Kick Push, off of his album Food and Liquor. That song does numbers, and actually he actually paid to get 200 spins per week for DJs all around the area. The song goes gold, but Atlantic had to catch up to the internet hype of Kick Push, because obviously Kick Push was on MySpace and all that stuff, and even eventually was put on YouTube around like 2009. So they had to wait for the catch up to the hype, so they slowed down the record so that some of them would buy it. And this is where we're gonna get into legal trouble. Atlantic. Lupe said he's been signed to Epic and Artista back in the day. He's been around Jay-Z, and they tried to get him on to Rockefeller, but he turned it down around 2002 or 2003. But Jay-Z promised that he was gonna be like the president of Atlantic Records, but of course that didn't work out, and he ended up being Def Jam president. So now Lupe is now Atlantic. He's dropping singles. He had a little buzz with Daydreaming and I Gotcha. It's on MTV. Of course, the album, as we know, was leaked. There was two versions of it. One version some people liked, the other one they liked more. The song, as you know, Food and Liquor is a classic album. It ended up doing 81,000 first week, and I think it's gold now. So it ended up doing good numbers for an album, and that's why he did great. The album commercially did great and critically did great. And that's why I think Atlantic failed to use Lupe. Lupe had the hype of hip hop, the hip hop crowd. That's why they was trying to make him like a B.O.B. B.O.B. never had the hype of hip hop crowd. That's why he never sold that much. Not even more than Lupe. And he had multi-platinum albums, but he was never an album guy. Lupe was. So he drops that album, 81,000 first week. The next album, people are hyped because they wanted another one. Mind you, this is another classic album in the hip hop world, The Cool. He drops his first hit single off of the album, which goes like 2 times platinum, and it's his first top 10 Billboard hit. Superstar, probably like one of the biggest songs of the mid to late 2000s. Superstar was huge. So it did so good that Atlantic was like, you don't need to release more singles until after the album. So and they were right. When that single dropped, his album did 143,000 in its first week. And then it eventually went gold within the next year. Of course, this album's a classic. So this album did really good numbers. And at this point in his career, most people at the time was like, Lupe was the hip hop savior. He was gonna bring it back from ringtone rap, all that type of stuff. All the attention that Kendrick has now was on Lupe. Lupe was now, in a tough space because Atlantic Records said his album didn't have any hits, which is understandable if it didn't have any hits or whatever. But they should have allowed him to have a couple hits and then still have his album that he wanted. Like the show goes on, I'm Beaming could have been okay for the album, or maybe Out of My Head, but everything else seemed, or Words I've never said, but without the hook, because Skylar Grey is kind of too poppy. But I digress. It took him 3 years to get a single, not single. He's been dropping songs, but that were unreleased. It took him 4 years to get them to drop the album. The show goes on, drops, and it's one of his biggest songs that goes 3 times platinum. It was number 9 on Billboard, so it was a top 10 hit in 2010. Well, it dropped in 2010, but it didn't really blow up until 2011. The album ended up selling the most out of all his albums, 205,000 first week. I think it's platinum. Also, he ended up having more hit singles. He dropped Words I Never Said, the song with MDMA, Let's Go. I think it's Let It Go with Sarah Green. And also he dropped Out of My Head with Trey Songz. So the album ended up doing great commercially. But at this point in his career, I think a lot of people was kind of slowly falling off of Lupe because of how mediocre the album was compared to his first two classic albums. So people weren't putting him in the same light as he used to be, and they were trying to compare him to B.O.B. and all that type of stuff. And he wasn't trying to garner up a pop fan base. He just wanted the little mainstream attention, so he'll be like what Kendrick is now. But he's still recognized as a legend to this day. But on to his next album. The next album has Battle Scars, a few hit singles, of course. It only sells 90,000 first week because of Atlantic Records, not pushing it enough. The fifth album is now Test 2 and You, no hit songs. And this is where I think Lupe is turning point in his career, because they tried to pull the same thing they did with Lasers and not holding back the album. And eventually Anonymous eventually had to hack in and, release the album in 2015. If you can't tell, by around 2000, the fourth album drop, that's the same year I think Kendrick Lamar blew up with Good Kid, Mad City, his second album. So Lupe was not in the same light as him by the time 2015 rolled around, and he still sold 50,000 first week, but it wasn't as much as he used to sell with his old albums. And now, of course, Lupe is now underground rapper now, and he's doing his thing. Droger's Waves was fire, all that type of stuff. So, but I just wanted to tell you that Lupe could have been the hip hop savior that everybody thought he would be. But let's get on to Kendrick. Of course, he dropped Good Kid, Mad City. He blows up. Classic album. 8 years old. Drops To Pimp a Butterfly. Classic album. Blows up. Boom. Damn. It wasn't really as well received as the third and fourth. The second and third album, but it was still pretty good. Oh, and Section Eddie doesn't get talking about much. It's a great album too. But I think this is where this stems from. So, Kendrick blew up even more, than even Lupe. He had songs and all that stuff. The difference between Lupe and Kendrick is Lupe didn't have the understanding label. If he was signed to a Def Jam or an Epic Records, which he was at one point, but they had to drop them, I think Lupe would have still had a huge career in the rap game. But since of Atlantic Records, he couldn't be able to reach that potential. So, but if you're gonna be 100% honest, Lupe is lyrically better than Kendrick, and I think Lupe is a better artist. He knows how to put in better concepts, all that type of stuff. People act like he can't make hits when he made songs like Superstar, The Show Goes On, Out of My Head, Words I Never Said, Paris, Tokyo, Hip Hop Saved My Life, Battle Scars, Lamborghini Angels. I'm just naming the hit songs. So my thing is, they can't say Lupe can't make hits or he's not versatile when he's very versatile. Way more than Kendrick, actually. He's done rock songs like Hello Goodbye, Midnight. He had a rock group called Japanese Cartoon. He's very versatile. And I think Lupe could have had that potential, and he was at one point was where Kendrick is at right now. It's just that bro had his run. He had a good 6-7 year run. 2013 might have been over for him after that. And I feel like Lupe is a higher ranking. He has better albums. Food and Liquor is for sure a better album, way more complex than Good Kid, Mad City. And I think To Pimp Butterfly versus The Cool, I think The Cool or Test 2 and Youth are better albums than To Pimp a Butterfly. I think Lupe's main three albums are 10s. The Cool was in my top 15 rap album of all time. Food and Liquor is in the top 20. Test 2 might be in the top 15 too. But Lupe is a great artist, and I feel like it's kind of Atlantic's fault that he hasn't reached that level that he wanted to be. I think if Lupe was to make a Food and Liquor 3, similar to how Kid Cudi dropped Man on the Moon 3, and that sold well. I think if he made another named the album that, I think his sales will go up a bit. And also if he started collabing with Kanye or people like Travis Scott that's in the good music camp, or even the Pusha T, his sales might go up and he might blow back up like Kid Cudi did. But I think he's not trying to aim for hit singles. But neither is Kanye or Kid Cudi. It just happens. I think if he works with Kanye or whatever, he still wants to have a successful career. He wants to do stuff independent without having to make hit singles. And nowadays you can look at Freddie Gibbs. Freddie Gibbs sold 32,000 first week without no help from a mainstream label. He just signed one. I think Freddie would eventually sell 50,000 first week because of the hype he gets all around. He's now Grammy nominated because of the hype. I feel like if Lupe was to do, and this might be his problem now, the reason why he only sells like 15,000 first week, and he could be selling like 50,000, is because he doesn't do any interviews. He doesn't do promotional runs with other interviews. He doesn't do any interviews. Because I'm sure if he gets like 500,000 does an interview on Breakfast Club or Hot 97 or Adam 22 or just in general or DJ Vlad, I think he would blow up. Or I think he has his issues with DJ Vlad, and I think DJ Vlad is not a great person to do one. But I'm talking about people just go on a interview run. But I think Lupe is happy with his spot. But if he wanted to really sell as an independent artist, I think he should collab with people like Kanye and um people like Kanye or Travis Scott, in the good music camp. But I think he's pretty much happy with his underground scene. But I think the group Child Rebel Soldier would have helped him push him to the next level, if you know what I mean. Alright guys, this is the video. Please like and subscribe and tell me if you want more rap videos. I'll be posting this later, maybe later tonight or tomorrow. And peace.